Hey guys, Concealed Carrier. I just wanted to say thank you for subscribing, those of you who have subscribed. I want to make sure that I'm rewarding your patience by making a video every now and then when I get the chance. I'm starting a new job and that might not be too often, but rest assured that when I make a video it's going to be as interesting and as informed as I can possibly make it. With that in mind, I wanted to make a quick video on where I thought the gun culture in the United States was going now that we have new administration and new sets of laws that are on the books or being moved into the books. Going through Congress right now is a frightening piece of legislation. It's called H.R. 45, and it's a blanket restriction of individual firearms ownership. There are a large number of people in Washington and elsewhere who do not like the fact that firearms are not controlled by them. They would like firearms, but only if they had them. That, I'm convinced, is where this is going with H.R. 45. It is blanket licensure and total control over the movement, sale, transfer of all firearms. It's grisly. It's gross. It's so horrible that I don't think it's going anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. Nothing is going to happen with this thing. What I'm convinced that these people are doing, they're intelligent, they're capable, they know what they're doing. What I'm convinced that they're trying to do is play a little shell game with us. Have a little carrot and a little stick. On the one hand, they're going to give us H.R. 45, which is this horrible, disgusting, reactionary piece of legislation that is tantamount to a gun registration and licensure. And on the other hand, they're going to give us the old assault weapons ban that we used to have. The argument is that you can have one or the other, thinking that we will gladly choose the old assault weapons ban since we already had it once before and it wasn't so horrible. That, I think, is what's going to happen. Democrats in Congress, or other people in Congress, know a poison pill when they see one. They're not going to try to confiscate our weapons, which is why I wanted to make this video, because a lot of people are panic buying, and that's got to stop, because it's silly, right now at least. One of the things that they are not going to be able to do is weapons confiscation. Alright, get that out of your head right now. They're going to make weapons. Your state is ultimately the arbiter of how easy weapons are to acquire. That hasn't changed. I don't think that's going to change. I don't think they can change it. They can't do it in one administration at least. It would take several. With that in mind, what are they going to do? I'm going to talk about handguns, at least for our purposes. With long guns and shoulder-fired weapons is an entirely different subject, and there's plenty of videos that could be made about that. I'd like to talk about handguns. My own personal experience, when I came back from Afghanistan, the assault weapons ban was still in place, and my first pistols that I bought were my Glock 30 and my SIG 229. My SIG 229 came shipped with two 10-round magazines. They're factory magazines, but they are, I get the feeling that they've been disabled. If I were to take this plate out and put another one in and replace the spring, I'm convinced this would be a 12-round magazine. I haven't tried it, and I haven't really done all that much research, mostly because it's just so easy for me to get other magazines that it's not really worth my time or energy. That having been said, I really want to say that this is the old assault weapons ban, as far as pistols were concerned, was not a ban on pistols, it was a ban on magazines. For some reason, the extra 2 rounds that I get in this made my SIG more dangerous. You and I both know that all I had to do is carry a couple more of these, and every single piece of legislation they wrote is useless. So a lot of the panic buying I'm seeing with weapons, especially for people who can't afford it, and weapons are expensive, and I know there's some of you out there who are buying guns that shouldn't be, because, I don't know, the rent is due, the credit card payment is late, whatever. But a lot of this panic buying I'm seeing really is, it's uncalled for. Instead of buying really expensive weapons that you're going to be allowed to get later, what I think you should be able to do is go out and get you some magazines for weapons that you either already own or are thinking about buying. I have here, that's XD, that's the 26026 Glock 17. I'm stockpiling magazines for weapons that I already own. Because I know those aren't going to be around much longer. If anything, that is what's going to be banned, and that is what's going to be controlled, and not firearms. Right? So if budget is a concern for you, like it is for most people, I think magazines are going to be curtailed before firearms ever will be, because they're easier to touch on. That and ammunition too. I wanted to talk real quick about ammunition. Anybody who's tried to shop for ammunition recently knows there's critical shortages just about everywhere. I cannot find 9mm and I cannot find 45 ACP. I can find plenty of 40 caliber Smith & Wesson. I can find plenty of that, but I had occasion to drive from North Carolina to Northern Virginia, and I stopped at places that I'd normally find ammunition. Excuse me, and I haven't been able to find a single round of 9mm or 45. It's not out there. It's simply not. I don't know what's happening. Correction, I do know what's happening, but it's just frightening. So go to your gun shows, and I don't want to stoke the flames of panic, but bear in mind that ammunition is getting hard to come by, and it's going to get harder, I think. One of the proposals that I heard recently was increased taxes on ammunition. I heard increased taxes on the manufacture of ammunition. I had heard two things. The DoD was canceling the sale of spent brass to remanufacturers, and then I heard somebody at the Pentagon had put the kibosh on the ban. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to make of it. There's a lot of things happening, and I think a lot of it is happening in dark corners where few eyes are prying. And that is a concern all to itself, isn't it? So if you take nothing else from this video, if the current or coming gun ban is going to be anything like the last one was, it's not going to be on firearms. It's going to be on magazines. At least for handguns. If you're going up to buy a long gun, that's another story altogether. I'm currently in the process of shopping for an AR. I've got my sights on a Smith & Wesson M&P or a SIG 5.56, whichever I can find for the cheapest. Because honestly, they're going to be going after long guns hard. They have been already. They're not going to stop just because... Does anybody out there think they're going to stop because they're in power now instead of out of power? Let's not be silly. So that's it. I just wanted to get that off my chest. If anybody has any comments, anybody thinks I'm being crazy, let me know, and I'll happily take down the video if you want. But thanks for watching, and again, thanks for subscribing. It's really flattering to know that people are out there interested in hearing what somebody like me has to say.